Welcome, everybody. How is everybody doing? It is Monday. I'm tired today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired today. The reason we're here today is for tarot and oracle cards. So we are going to start with the Light Seers tarot deck because this is my favorite deck. I use it so often. So what I was thinking about this reading today, because we've been doing these tarot and oracle readings for a few weeks, and we come in and I say, what does our highest self want us to hear? And then we get a tarot card. And then the oracle card, I feel like they just kind of end up saying the same thing. How do you manifest what you want in your life? You claim your power. That's what I feel like just keeps coming out of the same outcome keeps coming from these readings. So I was sitting with, I was considering asking the cards a little bit about what we need to know about getting on the same page with people that we don't agree with. We will start with the tarot cards, and we're going to ask the question, what do we need to know about relating with people who differ from us? So let's see which tarot card wants to flavor this reading, and then we will use the tarot card to flavor the oracle reading. What do we need to know about reframing the way that we align with people who are different than us? And the card that came out from the tarot deck is the Five of Swords. So fives in tarot represent temporary setbacks. They represent hardships, but it's not permanent, right? So we're in the middle of a cycle. This is like the halfway point between 1 to 10. We're halfway through. We're here to shift something. Swords in the tarot represent the air element. So this is your mindset. This is your perspective. This is your speech. So the Five of Swords is an opportunity for us to change our mindset in order to find liberation, in order to find the freedom, right? A tagline that comes up when I pull this card is that there are no winners or losers. It doesn't mean that because one person is right, the other person has to be wrong. There is not always that black and white duality. This is a change of mindset. So what does this tarot card want to tell us about relating with others? It's a time for us to face it's time for us to face one of our own perspectives, one of our own mindsets, and it might be really difficult to let go of something that we've held on to so strongly with our ego brain. So which deck wants to help us change our mindset around people that we differ from? This one is calling to me. We're going to use the Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle. So what would I like to ask of this? Feel free to send your energy into the cards that are in my hand. And we're going to ask, what mindset shifts will serve us best in order to relate to people we differ with? And we will pull 3 cards from the Guides of the Hidden Realm deck to figure out which of our mindsets it's time to look into. We could use this for family, we could use this for whatever you want to use this with. But I will let 3 cards fall out of the deck to answer that question for us. What about our minds? How are we creating this sense of frustration because of a mindset that we're so hell-bent on holding on to? So I'm gonna make this very clear. This reading is not about how do we make everyone else change what they think to make me happy. This is how do we shift our mindset in order to relate to the people that we differ with. Card number 1 is card number 39. This is the emergence of protection. Setting boundaries, self-preservation, trusting divine protection despite temporary turmoil. If that is not the Five of Swords, temporary turmoil, check that out. This reading is starting on fire. The need for protection implies the existence of a threat that must be guarded against. Can you feel, however, that you are not the only one looking out for you? We inherently know that our lives are brief, and we will experience highs and lows before we return to spirit. When we call upon higher forces, it makes it safer and easier to move through this world. As you progress on your journey, trust in divine protection. Unnecessary harm will not come to you if you follow the prompts, signs, and nudges along the way. Shield your energy by setting healthy boundaries. In this way, you teach others how to treat you respectfully, as well as underscore your own self-respect. On the rare occasion that someone crosses your clear boundaries, you will be able to respond effortlessly and dispassionately because you know yourself so well. You're doing the inner work to know who you are. You know your boundaries and broadcast them. Now, trust that the mission you are on comes with divine direction and divine protection. You can do this. There is nothing to fear today. So what I got from this first card is not only about setting your boundaries, because I do feel that in some sense of the word, boundaries have been used in a malicious way. I do feel that some people take boundaries a little bit too far, and they expect other people to completely change their behavior in order to make the boundary setter comfortable, and that's a little bit too far. When it comes to boundaries, it's more for yourself. It's more, and like, you can clearly communicate your boundaries to people. I do not enjoy engaging in this type of conversation. If you want to talk about this, maybe find someone else to talk about this with. And then if they keep coming at you, okay, your choices are to either sit like a teenager and say like, oh my God, they suck. I can't believe they're not listening to my boundaries. Or you have the opportunity to say, I no longer want to be here. I'm going to remove myself from the situation because my power lies in my action. So what I believe that this card is saying is that you have the opportunity to call in your divine protection in order to help you know when it's time to enforce your boundary a little bit stronger, or when it's time to take power back into your own hands and remove yourself from the situation. This is kind of in line with what I was talking about at the end of my Q&A session the other day. Towards the very end of my Q&A, I started sharing about my husband, right? He and I were very head-to-head all the time, and I learned how to set my boundaries. I learned how I didn't like to be treated, and I continually told him, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. And for a while, I was putting up my teenager self, and I'm like, well, he should know. I'm telling him. He should know how to treat me by this point. And then eventually I was like, well, he's obviously not going to treat me that way, so I guess it's my time to move on. So that's kind of what I'm talking about with this. Check yourself. Check yourself also. Have you clearly communicated your boundary? Or have you just been acting in a way that they should assume that they should know how to treat you because of the way that you respond to their words? Like, are you playing games like that? Or do you have the trust in yourself to say, actually, this is where my boundary is and I'm not going to tolerate this. I don't want to be a part of this conversation. I don't want to be name called because of my beliefs. So if you're going to continue to act this way, then I'm just going to leave. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So what mindset shift can help you is that you have power. Just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean that like they're in control of the whole conversation. Okay. Card number 2, which mindset shifts will serve us best in order to relate to the people we differ with. Card number 2 brings us card number 2, Zenith at the peak. Victory, achievement, getting what you want, tangible abundance. In autumn, the harvest reminds us of the nature of abundance and the promise of prosperity. It's a peak moment of success. Be assured that in your own life, you are moving toward this very zenith of achievement, creativity, and love. You have worked so hard. Can you see how far you've come? As you move forward, you can reach even higher, building upon the foundations of your accomplishments. This natural cycle carries within it a reminder to be humble. Nothing remains at the peak forever. The seasons must change as part of natural law. Accept the fruits of all your hard work, inside and out. Be here now with humility and gratitude, and share your good fortune with others. This is a wonderful time for intimate exchanges and profound connections. Celebrate this peak moment, then keep moving. More adventures in abundance will follow, so make space for them. Now, what the heck does this have to do with the mindset shift? What I'm getting from this card is to honor the growth that you have already achieved in the way that you relate with people who are different from you. And if you have to go way back to childhood to use an example of like, oh, this is how I was taught by my parents to relate to people that I'm different from. And now look at how I treat people now. If you have to go way back to childhood, go way back to childhood. Or if you can catch yourself, like even a difference from 4 years ago, 8 years ago, how am I responding to these things out of my control now in a more evolved way that I was responding to these things that were out of my control then? I believe in order to shift your mindset to relate with people that you differ with, you got to go in and celebrate yourself. You got to go inside and say, wow, I've done all this work. I have tweaked and not perfected. I have molded the way that I respond to the world. Give yourself a pat on the back for all the mindset work that you've already done that has made your life a little bit more accepting and full of surrender and ease and peace. Another thing that came up while I was reading this card in my personal perspective, this has happened over and over, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same with you guys. How many times have you caught yourself having the conversation in your mind before you're even in the situation, right? You run through the conversation and you say, well, okay, I'm going to voice this opinion and then they're going to rebuttal this way so that I can come back with this argument. And you like build it up in your head and it becomes this big scary thing. And you just assume that you're going to be like battled against and you're going to have to put up your toughest armor. And then you get there and no one even brings it up. You share the opinion you want to share and then it goes completely different. This card was talking about, was reminding me that you're probably making it a bigger deal in your mind than it's going to be. And you can reflect on how it has actually gone in recent past, right? This might be a time to reflect on some arguments that you had when you were a kid that it's time to let go of. This card might be saying like, don't forget how far you've come in the last few months, years. Whenever you started diving into your work, take a look at how much you've grown since then. If you guys are enjoying today's session, if you'd like to offer an exchange of energy in the form of a donation, they're always appreciated. You can donate right here on Insight Timer, or I'm going to share a tip with you guys. It's not going to make everything perfect, okay? But this is what I do day in and day out. I do it before all my Insight Timer sessions. I do it before I work with any kind of client. I do it before I'm even going to meet up with a friend who I enjoy their company. And I started doing it when I had to go hang out with people I didn't want to hang out with in order to support other people, right? I say, before every interaction that I have control over, I say that I intend to bring my highest self to meet with the highest self of whoever I'm going to meet with. And I intend that divine healing take place in alignment with the highest good of all. That is like it's in there. I don't remember where I came up with that. I've been doing it for years. So just by intending, right? Like think about the other side. Think about like you're driving and you're like, I don't want to see these people, man. I really don't want to see these people. What are you telling your subconscious? What subconscious state are you showing up in? You're showing up in the, oh God, I don't want to be here. But it literally, just with those few words, you are programming yourself like, oh, okay, I got my highest self with me. I'm going to be my best. And I'm asking to meet with their highest self. So my subconscious is going to be searching for how much I align with this person, right? How much of their best self they're bringing to the table. And then no matter what happens in this interaction, I intend that divine healing take place, because healing sometimes cannot look like fun and pansies and frolicking. Sometimes healing hurts, and sometimes we need to be exposed to hurtful things in order to heal. So I intend to bring my highest self to meet with the highest self of the Insight Timer community, and I intend that divine healing take place in alignment with the highest good of all. What kind of energy are you bringing into the situation? I'm going to read this last card, and then I'll see if I want to blab. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Card number 3. We are asking which mindset shifts will serve us best in order to relate to the people we differ with. Card number 3 is card number 31. The card is in the midst of the radiant fire. The key concepts for this card are inspiration, passion, optimism, pure joy, brilliant ideas, creativity, all-consuming obsession, addiction, burnout, cleansing fire. Inspiration is one of the most profound gifts from your higher power you will ever receive. It's like being handed a magic acorn containing the blueprint for an extraordinary oak tree of meaning, adventure, transformation, and fulfillment. Your only job is to accept it, plant it, and tend to it in your field of dreams. Trust in the divine fire that burns in your heart, and pay attention to the prompts from Source. That still, small voice will tell you the next step on the path of your best life. Once you commit, things come together to help make it happen, regardless of any specific action on your part. This brilliant idea, this creative impulse, this joyful moment is a gift. So many people ignore it, thinking it will be too much work or that someone else is better suited for the task. But not you. Let this inspiration light your inner fire and keep tending to the flame. Feel the passion and optimism. Know that you were chosen for this unique path. So what does this inspiration have to do with a mindset shift that'll help us relate to the people we differ with? What if their differing opinions are the trigger that you needed to get this bit of inspiration? Oh my gosh, how can half the world think this? There must be a way to help these idiotic people, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking that. And if that's the trigger that you have right now, if that's what's going to burn this passion inside of you to make the difference that you are made to make in this world, so be it. Use that. Use whatever is difficult about relating with these people that you are having a hard time relating with. How can I educate the world on that? How can I share my message to the world, to the people who are ready to receive it, to the people who align with my message? Right? It doesn't mean that you are here to change the mind of every person you've ever disagreed with, but they're there to show you what you are passionate about. So do something with that passion. Make something with that passion. There is something else. Which mindset shifts will serve us best in order to relate to the people we differ with? So let me recap this reading, and then I'll see if I want to blab. Okay, so we first asked, what do we need to know about relating to people that we differ with? And we got the 5 of Swords. It's a mindset shift. It's a time of realizing like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like the way that my mind is feeling right now, so I need to change it. So which mindset shifts are going to help us relate to people that we differ from? Card number 1 was talking about how we have divine protection. and we are super powerful in our own rights. So card number 1 did bring up boundaries, but the message I got about this is not to stand more firm in your boundaries and push other people away. I got that card number 1 is asking us to ask our higher self, ask our higher guidance to help us know when it's time to just realize that our boundaries are not being respected and it's time to skedaddle. Those might not be your people, and that's okay. Card number 2 asked us to reflect on how our mindset has already shifted and how much peace and ease we have already felt because of the way that we have chosen to change the way that we respond to people that we disagree with. Because we have evolved the way that we communicate with people that we disagree with. So celebrate yourself. And then card number 3 brought us that radiant fire. Reminded us that whatever we are being put up against, like whatever is being triggered within us because of the things that we are not relating with the people around us, that is showing you your inspiration. That is showing you your inner fire. When something bubbles inside of you, it can be anger. It doesn't mean you're supposed to rebuttal the messenger where it came from. That's showing you that, like, wow, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I actually want to do in this lifetime. This is the message that I actually want to spread. So how can I do it? Right? Let me tell my whole story and then maybe I'll tell you. I went down so many rabbit holes 4 years ago. And I was put up against a whole bunch of anger. I learned a lot of things about a lot of people that I had never been taught. And never been taught, right? And I got like angry at the different people in the world. And then I kind of used that anger to start speaking up about my platform, about how we're all self-powerful, right? We all can do whatever we want to do in this life, and this is how I've been playing around with it. So here, you can do it too. I like detached from all of this, right? I was in it for a long time so I can learn new things, and I'm like, wow, oh my God, how does the whole world not know that we are all debt slaves? How does everyone not know this, right? And I got on my soapbox and I was that Facebook meme person who was sharing 4 memes a day. Like, oh my God, how do you guys not see this? It's right in our face. And then I cooled off and then I completely detached from all media, because it was apparent to me how much power it had over me because it was bringing up such strong feelings. So we watched Thrive and Thrive 2 over the last few nights. And the same thing started happening. Like when they started diving into why we don't have free energy, I felt that same like anger, passion. Oh my God, new enemies. I'm a Band-Aid ripper. I enjoy being a Band-Aid ripper. Jackie slaying the veil. Oh, you're comfortable? You thought that this was real? Just kidding, it's not. Yeah, that's absolutely me. So that's it. I hope that today's reading served you well. I hope you can utilize it in various situations. Not only for family, that was the main intention of today's reading, but I hope you can utilize this all over the place whenever you come up against an opinion that is different from the one that you are bringing to the table. Sending love to all. Namaste. Take care. Thank you guys all for your support, and I will see you soon.